Hello, friends. Have you ever wondered whether you are truly owning money or just chasing it? Most people spend their entire lives working hard, going to work every day, earning a salary, yet still feeling stuck somewhere. It's a strange cycle where people keep running, but rarely feel like they are actually moving forward. Now, a very important question arises here. If people are working hard and owning money, then why do they still feel stuck? If we look closely, the problem is not hard work. The problem is understanding. Most people chase money, but they don't try to understand it. From childhood, we are taught to study, get a job, and earn more. But we are rarely taught how money actually works. And this is where the real mistake begins. When we start seeing money only as something to earn, our entire focus shifts to income. We believe that if we earn more, all our problems will be solved. But is that really true? You have probably seen it yourself. Many people earn a good income, yet still live under financial pressure. That clearly means earning more money alone is not the solution. Now think about your own life. Do you ever ask yourself where your money actually comes from before spending it? Have you ever calculated how many hours you had to work to buy something? Most people don't. And this is where a pattern slowly forms. Work, earn money, spend, work again. This cycle becomes so normal that we don't even see any problem in it. But in reality, this is a very loop where most people remain stuck. They stay busy, but don't move forward financially. Now here's something very important to understand. Money is not just a number. It is not just your bank balance. Money is actually the result of your time and your energy. When you work, you are not just doing a task. You are giving a part of your life. You are spending your energy, and in return, you receive money. Now think about this. If you spend that money without understanding it, what are you really doing? You are spending parts of your own life without even realizing it. This is a realization that very few people have. And this is exactly where things can begin to change. When you start understanding that money is not just money, but a part of your life, your decisions begin to change. You start thinking before spending, and slowly you begin to realize that the real game is not just about owning, it's about understanding. But here comes another important question. If this idea is so simple, then why don't most people understand it? Why do they remain stuck in the same cycle for years? This leads us to the next part. Because the real problem is not just owning or spending. The real problem is that we don't truly understand what money actually means. And friends, this is a point where things start getting deeper. Most of us see money as just a tool, something that helps us fulfill our needs. But very few people realize that money is not just something to spend or save. It is a representation of your life's energy. When you earn money in exchange for any work, you are actually converting your time, your effort, and your mental energy into money. That means every income is not just income, it is a part of your life. Now here comes a very important question. If money represents your life's time, are you using it wisely? Most people cannot answer this honestly, because they have never looked at money from this perspective. We usually see money as numbers, like 1,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees, or 50,000 rupees. But we don't think about how many hours of work are hidden behind that amount. Let's say you bought something worth 2,000 rupees. You think you just spent 2,000 rupees. But if you look deeper, maybe it took you 8 to 10 hours of work to earn that money. That means you actually spent 8 to 10 hours of your life on that one thing. Now think, was that thing really worth those hours of your life? This is a question very few people ask themselves. And this is where awareness begins. When you start looking at every expense from this perspective, your thinking slowly begins to change. You reduce impulsive buying. You pause and think before making decisions. But there's another important point here. The problem is not just spending. The problem is spending without awareness. Many times, we spend money on things that give us temporary happiness but don't provide any real long-term value. And this is exactly where people slowly fall into a financial trap. Because when we spend without awareness, we don't even realize how much of our life we are gradually giving away. And that is why many people, even with a good income, don't feel financially free. They earn, they spend, and they repeat the same cycle, without ever understanding where the real problem lies. Now here's a deeper truth. As long as you see money only as something to earn and spend, you will remain stuck in that cycle. But the moment you begin to understand that money is your life's energy, your entire perspective starts to shift. And friends, this brings us to the next important truth. Because just understanding money is not enough. The real game begins when you understand how you are actually using it. Friends, now we've reached the point where things start becoming clearer. Understanding what money is was the first step, but even more important is how you use it. Most people don't control their spending controls them. They believe they are making decisions, but in reality, their habits and impulses are making those decisions for them. Now think about a simple situation. You like something, a gadget, a piece of clothing, or anything else. In that moment, you feel that it will make you happy. Without thinking much, you buy it. At that time, you only see its price. But what you don't see is its real cost. What is the real cost? White right pointing backhand index, the time you spent owning that money. White right pointing backhand index, the energy you used. White right pointing backhand index, the hours of your life that went into that purchase. This is a difference most people fail to understand. We see the price, but we don't see the cost. When you only see the price, spending feels easy. But when you understand the real cost, your perspective begins to change. Now here's something very interesting. Most expenses give us short-term happiness. For a few minutes or a few days, we feel good, but after that, the feeling fades and we start looking for something new. This cycle repeats again and again. White right pointing backhand index, new expense. White right pointing backhand index, temporary happiness. White right pointing backhand index, emptiness. White right pointing backhand index, another expense. And slowly, it becomes a habit. This is a pattern that keeps people financially stuck. Because when spending becomes a habit, saving and investing get left behind. And without saving and investing, building wealth becomes difficult. But here's something deeper you need to understand. The problem is not that you spend money. The problem is that you spend without thinking. When spending is not conscious, it slowly eats away your financial freedom. You feel like you're just buying small things, but in reality, you're spending small parts of your life. Now ask yourself one question. Do you think about how many hours of your life something costs before spending? Or do you make decisions based only on the feeling of the moment? This is where the difference begins. When you start looking at every expense with awareness, you automatically reduce unnecessary spending. You begin to evaluate things on a deeper level, and this awareness can slowly transform your financial life. But friends, the story doesn't end here, because understanding spending alone doesn't solve the whole problem. There's another bigger trap that most people fall into, and that is the system itself. And this brings us to the next part, where we will understand why people keep getting stuck in this cycle again and again. Friends, until now we have understood what money is and how we spend it. But now the real question arises, why can't people get out of this cycle? What keeps pulling them back into the same place again and again? The answer lies in a simple but powerful pattern. Earn, spend, earn again, spend again. At first glance, this pattern seems completely normal. Everyone does it, so it feels right. But when this pattern repeats without awareness, it slowly turns into a trap. This is often called the rat race. In this race, a person keeps running. They work hard, earn income, manage their expenses, and then repeat the same process next month. Time passes, but the situation remains almost the same. Now here's something very important to understand. This trap doesn't exist because people earn less. It exists because as people earn more, they also spend more. As income increases, lifestyle increases. First come basic needs, then comfort, then the desire for luxury. And slowly, a person reaches a point where their expenses become so high that they must keep working just to maintain them. This is where the real problem begins. Because now, the person has fewer choices. They can't think about quitting their job. They fear taking risks, and every decision starts being driven by financial pressure. Now notice something. This doesn't happen suddenly. It builds gradually. White right pointing backhand index, small desires. White right pointing backhand index, slightly bigger expenses. White right pointing backhand index, lifestyle upgrades. White right pointing backhand index, and then the pressure to maintain that lifestyle. This process slowly creates an invisible trap. And the most interesting part is, most people don't even see it. They feel like they are progressing because their income is increasing and their lifestyle is improving. But internally, they are becoming more dependent. Now here's something deeper. When a person gets stuck in this cycle, they stop making decisions based on freedom and start making them based on compulsion. They do what they have to do, not what they truly want to do. This is the point where money stops being a tool and starts becoming pressure. And when money becomes pressure, a person's entire life starts revolving around it. But the question is it possible to break out of this cycle? Is there a way to understand the rat race and escape it? And friends, the answer is yes. But first, you need to recognize one major mistake. Because behind this entire system, there's a mindset that most people never question. And this brings us to the next part, where we will uncover the biggest mistake that keeps people trapped in this cycle. This is where we begin to understand the biggest mistake that keeps people trapped in this cycle. Friends, until now we have seen how people get stuck in a cycle, owning, spending, and repeating the same pattern. But now the most important question is, what is the root of this entire trap? The biggest mistake is actually very simple. People chase money without understanding it. They assume that more money equals a better life. And this belief keeps them running endlessly. Now try to understand this carefully. When your entire focus is only on owning money, you ignore one very important thing: how to use that money properly. You try to earn more, but you don't think about where and how to use it. You increase your income, but at the same time, you also increase your expenses. And slowly, you end up right where you started. This is a hidden mistake that very few people recognize. Now here's something interesting. When people start earning money, they believe all their problems will be solved. But after some time, they realize that as their income increases, their responsibilities and expenses also increase. And that brings them right back into the same cycle. Now the question is, if earning more is not the solution, then what is? This is where perspective needs to change. As long as you see money only as something to earn, you will remain trapped. But the moment you begin to understand that money is a system, a tool that must be used wisely, things start to change. This doesn't mean owning is not important. Earning is important, but understanding is even more important. White right pointing backhand index where your money is coming from. White right pointing backhand index where it is going. White right pointing backhand index and why it is going. When you start understanding these three things, that's when you truly gain control. Now here's a deeper truth. Many people think their financial problems exist because of low income. But often, the real problem is not income. It is a lack of awareness. If there is no awareness, even a high income won't solve the problem. And if awareness is present, even a lower income can lead to better decisions. This is a difference that slowly takes people's financial lives in completely different directions. Now ask yourself, are you just owning money? Or are you understanding it? Because if you are only owning, you will stay in the same cycle. But if you start understanding, you begin moving out of that cycle. And friends, this is where real change begins. But this change doesn't happen instantly. You have to gradually shift your thinking. And this brings us to the next part, where we will understand how awareness can completely transform your financial life. Friends, now we have reached a stage where things begin to get clearer. So far, we have understood why people stay stuck and what the biggest mistake is. But real change begins when awareness enters. Now the question is, what does awareness actually mean? In simple terms, awareness means knowing where your money is coming from, where it is going, and why it is going. It sounds very simple, but most people don't have clarity even on this basic level. Think about it. If someone asks you right now where you spent your money in the last month, can you clearly answer? Most people can't. That is a lack of awareness. When you don't know where your money is going, you cannot control it. And when there is no control, money slowly slips away without you even realizing it. Now here comes an important shift. When you start developing awareness, the first thing you begin to do is notice your spending. You start paying attention to small things, where unnecessary expenses are happening, where impulsive decisions are being made. Slowly, you begin to realize that many of your expenses are not adding any real value to your life. And this realization is extremely powerful, because until you see the mistake, you cannot change it. Now here's another important point. Awareness is not just about tracking expenses. It is about understanding your decisions. White right pointing backhand index, why did you buy that thing? White right pointing backhand index, was it a need or just a momentary desire? White right pointing backhand index, was it a thoughtful decision or an impulsive one? When you start asking yourself these questions, your thinking begins to change. You stop operating on autopilot. You start making decisions consciously, and this is the point where control begins to return. But here's a small mistake people often make. They see awareness as restriction. They feel that tracking expenses will reduce their freedom. But in reality, the opposite is true. When you are aware, you make smarter decisions. You spend only on things that truly matter or add long-term value. And that slowly leads you toward financial freedom. Now ask yourself again, are you controlling your money, or is your money controlling you? That is the real test of awareness. Because when you are aware, your decisions improve. And when your decisions improve, your results begin to change. But friends, awareness is just the beginning. The next step is changing your mindset. Because until your thinking changes, your actions cannot fully change. And this brings us to the next part, where we will understand how a shift in mindset can completely transform the entire game. Friends, after awareness, the next and most important step is changing your mindset. Because if your thinking remains the same, then even with awareness, your actions won't change for long. Now here's a very subtle but powerful difference you need to understand. Most people see money only as a result. They believe owning money is the goal. But people with strong financial understanding see money as a tool that can be used wisely. That is the real difference in mindset. Now let's understand this with a simple example. Imagine you receive some extra money. One mindset says, let's buy something nice, let's reward ourselves. The other mindset asks, how can I use this money to create more value? In both situations, the money is the same, but the thinking is different, and that thinking shapes a completely different future. Now here's something deeper. Mindset change doesn't just mean reducing your spending. It means looking at every financial decision from a new perspective. White right pointing backhand indexes is giving me short-term happiness or long-term value. White right pointing backhand indexes is improving my financial life or just giving momentary satisfaction. When you start thinking this way, your decisions slowly begin to change. You stop making impulsive decisions and start making intentional ones. And this is a shift that gradually changes your financial direction. Now notice something important. Most people focus on increasing their income, but they don't upgrade their mindset. That's why as soon as their income increases, their expenses also rise at the same pace. But when the mindset changes, even with higher income, a person stays in control. They automatically start thinking about using money wisely instead of just spending it. And this difference becomes massive over time. Now ask yourself one question. Do you see money as a reward or as a tool? If you see it as a reward, you will be more inclined to spend it. But if you see it as a tool, you will try to use it. And this mindset shift can slowly pull you out of the cycle where most people remain stuck. But friends, changing mindset alone is not enough. If you don't have the right system, even good intentions don't last long. Because without a system, decisions slowly fall back into old patterns. And this brings us to the next part, where we will understand how to build a system to take control of your money. Friends, until now we have talked about awareness and mindset. But there is one big truth. Understanding and thinking alone are not enough. If you don't have a system, you slowly fall back into old habits. That's why many people feel motivated, but they fail to maintain change over time. Now the question is, what is a system? A system is a structured way to track and manage your money regularly. It means you don't rely on guessing. You follow a clear process. The first step is tracking your money. It sounds basic, but it is one of the most powerful actions. When you start writing down or tracking where your money goes, everything becomes clearer. You begin to see white right pointing backhand index, which expenses are necessary. White right pointing backhand index, which ones are just habits. White right pointing backhand index, and where your money is going without creating value. This clarity gives you control. Now here's something important. A system does not mean restriction. It doesn't mean limiting your life. In fact, a system gives you the freedom to consciously decide where your money should go. Let's understand this with a simple method. Suppose you decide to categorize your expenses every month. Needs, comfort, and luxury. When you do this, you clearly see where most of your money is going. And from there, you can start making adjustments. Now you don't have to constantly force yourself to stop spending. Your system guides you. This system protects you from impulsive decisions. Now here's something deeper. When you have a system, you make fewer emotional decisions. You stop deciding based on the moment and start deciding based on a plan. And that is what gradually gives you control. Now ask yourself, do you have a clear system to manage your money? Or do you just try to balance income and expenses every month? If you don't have a system, then no matter how strong your awareness and mindset are, you can fall back into the same cycle. But when a system is in place, things become stable. You know where your money is going and where you want it to go. And this is a step where financial clarity slowly turns into financial control. But friends, building a system is not the final step. Real change happens when you make that system a part of your daily life, like a habit. And this brings us to the next part, where we will understand how small daily habits can completely transform your financial life. Friends, now we've reached a stage where understanding, mindset, and system, all three are clear. But the real difference starts here, what you do daily. Because in the end, your financial life is not built by one big decision, but by small daily decisions. Now try to understand this carefully. If your system is right but you don't follow it, it has no value. And if your habits are wrong, even the right mindset slowly becomes weak. That's why habits are the most powerful factor. Now the question is, which habits? The first habit is pause. Whenever you are about to spend money, don't decide instantly. Pause for a few seconds. Ask yourself, white right pointing backhand index, is this really necessary? White right pointing backhand index, does this give value equal to my life's time? This small pause can save you from impulsive decisions. The second habit is regular review, once a week or once a month. Start reviewing your expenses. Try to see where your money went and why it went there. When you do this, patterns slowly begin to appear. You start understanding where you are spending without thinking and where you are making conscious decisions. The third habit is intentional spending. This means planning your expenses. Spend money only on things that truly give you value. Gradually start reducing the rest. Now here's something very important. None of this will happen overnight. You cannot change your habits in a single day. But if you make small changes consistently, the impact becomes very powerful. This is the compound effect. Small decisions, when repeated daily, create a big difference over time. Now ask yourself one more question. Are you making daily conscious decisions with your money? Or are you just going with the flow? This is where the difference begins. When you start making conscious decisions, your entire financial behavior begins to change. You reduce unnecessary expenses, your savings increase, and most importantly, you start feeling in control. And when control comes, confidence follows. Now you are not just chasing money, you are using it with understanding. But friends, there's one final and most important thing left. Because if you truly understand all of this, it doesn't just change your financial life. It can change your entire perspective on life. And this brings us to the final part of this video, where we understand where real change actually begins. Friends, if we look at everything we've discussed so far, one thing becomes very clear. The game of money doesn't start outside, it starts inside. It's not just about income, expenses, or systems. The real difference comes from your understanding and your thinking. At the beginning, we asked a simple question. Are you earning money or just chasing it? After everything we've discussed, the answer might now feel clearer. Most people stay stuck because they chase money without understanding it. They earn, they spend, and repeat the same cycle without ever realizing where the real problem lies. But the moment you pause and start understanding money, things begin to change. You realize that money is not just a number. It is a part of your life. Your time, your effort, your energy, everything is connected to it. And when this realization happens, your decisions automatically begin to change. You start looking at every expense differently. You reduce impulsive decisions. You begin to control your money instead of being controlled by it. That is the real change. Now here's something very important. At no point in this process did we say that you must earn more money, because the real point is not how much you earn. It's how well you understand and use what you earn. Without understanding, even more money can keep you stuck in the same cycle. But with understanding, even less money can be used wisely. That is the core of this entire concept. Now ask yourself one final question. Do you still want to chase money? Or do you want to understand it and use it to build a better life? Because that decision alone can change your entire financial journey. And friends, If you truly want to understand this game, you don't just need to listen, you need to apply. Start with small steps. White right pointing backhand index, notice your spending. White right pointing backhand index, pause before every decision. White right pointing backhand index, slowly build awareness. These small steps eventually create big changes. And maybe that is the biggest takeaway from this entire discussion. Don't chase money, understand it. Because when you understand money, it stops being just a resource. It becomes a tool that can shape your life the way you want. If you found this video useful, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments. What do you think is a real game of money?